The title of this video is Hyper-Independence and Freedom in Relationships. So I hear this often, that people say, I need freedom to be myself, I value my freedom, I need my independence. Yes, it's very important to have your freedom and independence in a relationship. It's very important to have a sense of autonomy, to be able to make your own decisions. But this is a given. This is normal. It's normal to be independent, to be yourself, to be autonomous. You don't need to go around announcing it to people and telling them over and over again how much you need your freedom. Why do you need to announce it? You're just free to do as you choose. You are already independent. You don't need to talk about it like, oh my God, I need it so badly. Why? Well, you have it. It's already yours. So why do people say this? Why are there people around in relationships who claim like it's so important to have independence and freedom? What is that about? Well, usually it stems from a childhood wound in which a person was denied autonomy. They had no autonomy in the relationship with a parent who was playing the role of an abuser. So for example, if you go to like a prison camp and the prison guard is telling you to do certain things in order to get your food, in order to get your drink, to survive, you will do those things. Essentially, somebody who announces how much they value their freedom is somebody who didn't have their freedom. Somebody who was denied their own autonomy in the family. So they had to, of course, give up their autonomy to still be taken care of, because otherwise they wouldn't be given food, they wouldn't be given drink, they wouldn't be given love and attention and affection and acceptance by their abusive parent. Therefore, because this abusive dynamic with a prison guard in which they have no personal autonomy whatsoever because they depend on the abuser, they are still living in the past. They are still projecting, it's going to happen again. I need to watch out. Oh my God, they're going to do it. It's based on adaptation to the environment. It's based on trauma. Person is still living in the past. And the nervous system is doing this. This is not like just mental. When people say, oh, I need my freedom. It's not just because they mentally know that they've been abused. They may not know they've been abused at all, actually. They may actually be in denial and think, oh, I had such a great childhood. I had so much love, so much care. Meanwhile, they were sacrificing themselves to get that care. And now as an adult, they say, I can't take this anymore. I need my freedom. Okay, but everybody else is free. What makes you so special? Well, you're special because you're traumatized. You're special because you're still fighting that prison. Because your body is still imprisoned. Because the nervous system, in its attempt to cope with the environment, is learning survival strategies. So if a prison guard is constantly trying to abuse me, if I don't do what he wants, by denying me basic affection, care, and food and shelter, then I have to mask. I have to pretend to be somebody I'm not. I cannot address conflicts. I cannot stand up for myself. It's an abuse of power. I have no power. So that's what it's about. It's about control and power. Because the abuser has all the power, you're depending on them. Therefore, to get out of that, you need independence, because you don't want to depend on the abuser. So you don't want to depend on anybody, because you learned as a child that every time you depend on somebody, they are going to abuse you and use that dependency that you have, which you are a child, like of course you're dependent, against you. So as an adult, you're like giving people dependence, relying on them, getting my needs met through them, which is normal because we're human. We do get our needs met in relationships through each other. I don't think so. I'm independent. I need my freedom. So it's a defense mechanism. It's a pathological adaptation to the environment, which has been healthy and necessary in their childhood, but now that they're an adult, they're going around making such a big drama, but such a big fuss about it. Oh, I need my independence. I cannot commit to you. I need polyamory, or I need to be open-ended, free, non-committed, no marriage, nothing. Just leave me alone. Just give me space. Just, you're suffocating me. You're pressuring me. Why? Because the nervous system is hardwired for the dynamic with a prison guard. That person has been in prison their entire life. What do you expect? Person has just come out of prison trying to have a relationship with you. Somebody who's not been in prison. Or maybe you have been in prison, but you're over it, or whatever. But that person is not over it. So their nervous system is still in fight or flight. It's still defensive, still like, oh, the moment I need something from you, you're going to abuse me or you're going to abandon me. It's hardwired in the nervous system. There's a lot of anxiety that the body is producing to pressure the person to not deal with you, to not conflict with you, to not rely on you, to not co-regulate with you, to not cooperate with you, to just cooperate based on a facade, which is going to recreate the abuser-slave dynamic. And of course, that slave-abuser dynamic is insufferable, intolerable. So the person says, I need my independence, I need my freedom. Because the person doesn't want to be a slave again. But why are they a slave? Because the nervous system is producing anxiety to recreate a mask, a facade, which is why I call it a fantasy defense, to shield themselves from abandonment, to keep you at an arm's length, to create distance with you, so you don't get too close, which means they don't get too close to you, because all about them and their emotional dependency and in their emotional investment, which they have learned never ends well, never leads anywhere. So why should I attach? Why should I commit if that strategy has never worked for me? And my entire nervous system is designed, hardwired to avoid that. Which is why we call it avoidant attachment style. Avoiding the attachment, which the person has known to always be with an abuser, to always be with a prison guard. So the person unconsciously is projecting that you, the healthy, secure, reliable, loyal, dependable, emotionally available partner, that you are a prison guard and you are trying to enslave them. And the moment you tell them what you need, what you want, their nervous system is going to feel the same anxiety, the same fear of abandonment, the same suffocating pressure that they felt as a child when the prison guard was denying them their food and shelter. It threatens the nervous system's survival. The very survival of the avoidant attachment feels threatened by you expressing your needs and wanting to resolve a conflict, which is completely normal and completely healthy. Your healthy behavior triggers the nervous system of the avoidant or the emotionally unavailable, which says, I need my independence because I am mentally not very smart. I can't even see why I'm doing what I'm doing. I don't know that I've been traumatized even. I'm so unaware, so unconscious, and I bring this unconsciousness into my relationships. And now I'm telling my partner, it's your fault. So I'm gaslighting you, creating a fantasy defense. Okay? It's all about gaslighting. Because only when I can gaslight you to convince you that it's your needs, your emotions that are the problem, and not the actual problem, which is what we are doing here, then I'm avoiding accountability. I don't have to deal with my emotions. Because essentially what happens, if a person is traumatized sufficiently, they learn that they can't solve problems with the abuser or the controller. Because if you're dealing with an abuser, like a prison guard, you're not going to be able to solve your problems with them. You're just playing on their terms. It's about power and control. And that's all that your nervous system is looking for. Itsy bitsy bits of power and control. Which makes avoidance very controlling usually. They need to control you. To keep you at an arm's length. To make sure that you don't get too close, that you don't become a person that is significant enough, very important, yeah. Significant enough to matter to the degree that it activates and triggers their childhood fears of abandonment. Which is why usually you feel like you're neglected, you are unimportant, you don't matter when you are with an avoidant, emotionally unavailable person. Because their nervous system gets triggered by you being significant. When you matter, their nervous system fear of abandonment is triggered. So what does the person do to deal with that? Do they have a problem solution mindset? Do they research this, study this, try to fix this, work on the problems? You have to understand that this child, we're dealing with a kindergarten defense, child, it has been living in an environment for 5 years, 10 years, 15 years, 20 years, however years, in the family, in which it was not allowed to deal with conflict, not allowed to fix problems. What do you do when you can't fix problems? You fix emotions. You dissociate. You ignore. You don't even deal with your feelings. And you deal with some kind of coping mechanism. Whether it's addictions, weed, smoking, whether it's cheating, sex, or any other coping mechanism, any other distraction. So you don't deal with a problem because you never dealt with problems. You avoid the problems, right? Because your abuser is not going to allow you to do that. So you just avoid the feelings. Which of course is why people are emotionally unavailable. That's the whole point. So that's what you're dealing with. If somebody tells you, I need my freedom, because I'm a caricature, I'm like out of a comic or something, and I have no brain because it's human AI, I mean, come on. Grow up, please. I don't want to hear this anymore. The next person that tells me that, actually I do want to hear this, because this is giving me very useful information. It's letting me know that you are not a safe person. You are a walking red flag. If you say that you need your freedom, I don't think so. I'm out of here. Because I have my freedom, I don't need to announce it. I know I'm free. I'm not threatened by you. You can't take my freedom away. I'm already independent. So why the fuck would I be screaming from the top of my lungs how independent I am? Of course I am. It's a given. I don't need to announce it. So if you need to defend it, what's the problem? Feeling threatened perhaps? Feeling challenged easily? Because you lack boundaries? Because you're insecure? And you need to put on like this grandiose, like a narcissistic facade, like a blowfish. I don't need to blow myself up to scare you away because you're pressuring me, because I'm so fragile, because my nervous system has been hijacked, been programmed to be an anxious wreck, because I can't self-regulate, because I am dysregulated, because that's what trauma does, which is completely normal. So why am I using this very derogatory, very triggering language, this triggering tone? Because you need to understand what you're dealing with. This is unacceptable. You can't live like this. You shall not live like this. The moment you stop tolerating this low level of consciousness, this is a low level of consciousness. This is a very low level of health. Because this is pathological, yeah? This is like a nervous system wreck. Okay? Somebody who is incapable of having any relations with anybody, let alone themselves. Because they don't deal with problems, they deal with emotions by dissociating, avoiding. That is a very, very low level of awareness, very low level of operation. It's extremely low functioning, extremely unhealthy. It creates health problems. It creates eczema in the person's life, psoriasis, creates autoimmune disorders, inflammation in the body. It creates cancer later down the line. It creates fatigue, chronic fatigue syndrome. It destroys their motivation, destroys their ability to think rationally, to use their frontal lobe, destroys their ability to take initiative, because they're always thinking, oh no, I'm going to fail, I'm so perfectionistic. Because if I start something, somebody is going to judge it, and then I will feel this prison water prosecution complex again. So I avoid all of these situations which could threaten me, including commitments. It's an extremely, let me emphasize, extremely low level of consciousness. Very low level. And we are not getting healthy. We're not healing by pretending, but it's some kind of attachment style, like it's a style, like it's a preference. Like my clothing here. Oh, I'm Lilith style. So it's a style. No, it's not a style. It's a low level of operation that creates havoc in your entire life. Creates havoc in other people's lives around you. Harms you, harms them, harms everybody. It's a walking, talking, mobile disease factory. It's entropy. It's death, it's freeze, it's masquerading, fantasy, facade, shadow dance. It's bad. We're talking about a cancerous, tumorous condition of being here. A state of being that is very toxic, very harmful. So, need to stop walking on eggshells here. I'm not walking on eggshells, because guess what? I am actually independent and I don't need anybody to approve of my message. I'm not interested in lying to people, sugarcoating, changing my tone, censoring my words, watching how I'm going to deliver what I'm saying here. I don't care. I'm not dysregulated. My nervous system is functioning normally. Okay, therefore I have no pressure inside my body to put on a facade to pretend how harmonious and independent I am, and how I am going to make your feelings feel so good when you are suffering from something that is destroying your life. And I should make you feel good for that. I should guide you through it, pamper you, to make it so easy for you not to change. To regulate your emotions, to be smoothly and softly guided through kindergarten while your entire life is in shambles. Your relationships are in ruin. Your nervous system is a wreck. Your health is being compromised every day. And I'm supposed to pamper that and be very nice and considerate and loving towards that? I don't think so. Because the acceptance of a disease today is the nightmare of tomorrow. Hell consciousness on earth. So I'm not tolerating it. Not sugarcoating it. Not on this channel. If you don't like this kind of language, if you're interested in those other pathological YouTubers who are also in a fantasy defense or putting on a masquerade to get more views, go to them. But this channel is not about masquerading. This channel is not about facade. This channel is not about being in the shadow persona. This channel is about showing you an example, living example, how to get out of the matrix, not to perpetuate it. So if you're interested in staying in the matrix, unsubscribe, unfollow now, and go somewhere else. Because I don't have the time to pamper and masquerade. Okay? Good. So if you like this kind of content, if you like it when I go off, and you like to see more videos like this in the future, please leave a like and subscribe. And if you're interested in my personal readings, personal consultations, in which I actually do know what I'm talking about because I study this with honesty, and of course with compassion also for what's actually happening in the body, because all of this is trauma based. We're not choosing to be mentally ill, but we can choose how we deal with that. And the more honest we are, the more clear we are, the faster we can heal. So our life can stop being a mess. Because we don't want that. We shouldn't tolerate that. We shouldn't tolerate living in scarcity, poverty, and depression. Because the more we tolerate that, the more we are actually deeply entrenched in the swamp which we're trying to get out of. So if you're interested in my services, please let me know. You can reach out through my description down below. You find the links there. You can find my services on my business page. You can reach me through Messenger or email. And thanks so much for watching. See you in the next video.